Hey, Katie.
Hey, Rhiannon, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you today?
Lovely. It's a lovely day in the neighborhood.
I'm noticing that it says Mr. Herman in honor of the late great Mr. Pee Wee Herman.
Yes, yes. He passed
Ah,
away as of this recording yesterday, and that really hit me in the feels, let me tell you. So, he's
yeah,
a big inspiration of absurdity and creativity as a kid.
yeah.
Pee-wee's Playhouse was
I
awesome.
I love that show. The like you said the secret word. Ah, they're like, I know you are, but what am I? Yeah. It's so funny because like obviously we're little kids, you watch Pee Wee Herman on Pee Wee's Playhouse, and then when you're older, you get introduced to the original Mr. Pee Wee Herman in is it Cheech and Chong? Which version is it? Is he was like in the Cheech and Chong
Oh, I think it was Nice
movie, and he's like,
Dreams, but I think it was
nice
Nice
dreams.
Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I ride the
Hamburger.
hamburger train. And I'm like, oh, this was comedy for adults. And then you're like, oh, I don't know if they should have given this man a children's program.
Absolutely, they should have. We needed it in our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
And then,
It was a
you
cute
know,
show. I loved it.
and then of course he was a vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was the one, yes, it was a great. And then did you actually watch his latest Pee-wee movie on Netflix? His last one before
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
I think it's Pee-wee's Big Holiday, but it's on Netflix, and there's a whole
Okay.
scene with Joe Manganiello in it, and he can't say his name, and he just keeps calling him Joe Manganiello or whatever. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. There's a couple other like really subtle, funny jokes that he has in there because he's trying to say, "Hey, haven't you ever seen any of my movies? What about Magic Mike?" Because there's been some rumors about our buddy Pee Wee. Um,
Hmm.
but he was just like, you'd think, but no. And then it just like it's really funny because Pee Wee Herman is into magic, and so why wouldn't he have seen a movie called Magic Mike? So it's just a joke that
Yeah.
works on so many levels.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's
Uh,
lots of great things in that movie.
yeah. The Pee Wee, what Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and then like I think it's called Pee Wee's Big Top Adventure. Like
Big
the two,
oh,
like one
Big Top Pee Wee.
Big Top Pee Wee. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like there's like that era of like also the Ernest movies. I'm like, I don't now that I'm older, I'm like, were these movies for kids? Were these movies not for kids? Because like these are two grown men who like the characters are like it's also like Mr. Bean. Like these men are so stupid. Is this supposed to be like a role model for children? Is this supposed to make children feel like they're smarter than adults? Like what's going on? What's going on in this genre of the dumbest man on earth gets a whole movie?
I'm pretty sure it's enjoyable, just funny slapstick for kids and satirical material for the thinking man.
But yeah, I used to love that Pee Wee's Playhouse with
Hmm.
the like the talking chair and the little neighbor
Oh, and
lady
just
and
and just all the Rube Goldberg machines, and just I wanted every kid, I don't know, all the colors. You just wanted the house like that, just to have fun little devices to do everything for you that are also cute and adorable.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I also wanted
R.I.P.
to
Mr.
point
Pee Wee.
out I'm rocking some Gem and the Holograms earrings because I'm
Oh
going back
yeah.
to the 80s. So, Gem was she would say Showtime Synergy because her little hologram
Yeah.
was in her earrings, and I have a little button on here that I can push, and I can have my ears glow, and I've got my Synergy rocking, so I can play Gem and the Holograms when I want.
Yeah.
I know,
There you
like
go.
playing with Barbies or playing with dolls or whatever you do as a kid, figures, whatever you play with. I remember having all of the like Gem and the Holograms, and then like the Misfits band. And when I go back and watch
Yeah.
it as an adult, I am just like, no wonder I am so into music. Like this
Yeah.
show is just all about bands and music. And then there's like the Misfits punk band. And then like, it's just so funny. Like I can see where I have gotten my views of music in the world from watching Jim and the Holograms when I was like 6. Uh,
Oh, yeah, in my house, my mom and dad, my dad was anti-Barbie. My dad's like, this is not a positive role model for young women. Like he didn't buy into the Barbie is like the every woman, like she gets all the careers, like this whole like with the Barbie movie. My dad did not believe that. He's like, she's not a positive role model. But my aunt won a Barbie in her Christmas raffle, and that's how I got my first Barbie. But I had to role play, like, so like my Barbie was like a Spanish flamenco dancer, but I'm like, today Barbie, this is your job. And I had to like, I didn't get all the like the special outfits or anything. I just had to tell this Barbie, this is what you're doing today. And this other Barbie, I'm like, this is what you're doing today. So like they had all the jobs, but like what were they wearing? Maybe a bathing suit. Like they did whatever they were doing. And then I didn't have like a lot of them. So I had to intersperse like stuffed animals and like Lego creatures and like like the little GI Joes. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
hey, so my brother is like 4 years younger than me too. And so I'm like, we would be like playing out our little scene. I'm like, we're gonna pretend that this little short guy is the same height as this lady, and then they're gonna do this together. So we had a lot of imagination play. We had a lot of imagination play in our house because my mom's like, what, you don't need a special Barbie. You have a Barbie. Just like tell that Barbie that this is her
Absolutely.
job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, do we have any corrections from last time? Because this is a good segue into my theme today.
We don't have a correction. We do have a small update. Is that I've heard on another podcast, like an actually professionally produced podcast, that what's her name? Who was the lady in my she was older than I thought. Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow was a very prolific backup singer in the 80s and even did backup with Michael Jackson when he was on tour. So like she was that, like she came on the scene as a solo artist after she had already had like a whole career as a backup singer. So kind of like a Sia situation. So that's my only
Oh,
update, is that
that's
Sheryl
awesome.
Crow has been in the business for a long time, and that's part of how she got her deal, is that she had all these relationships with all the acts that she had backed up and did studio work and all this other stuff with for all these years, and that helped her like get her own solo career started.
That's awesome.
But that's it. Yeah. All right. So
All right.
segue away.
Yes. So my theme today is actually all 3 songs that are part of a soundtrack to one movie. So I'm going to assume you have seen or heard of the movie, but I'll play the first song, which is like the intro theme song to the movie, and then we'll go from there. So let
Okay.
me go ahead and get that started. It's from 1987.
Okay. I
Okay.
watched movies in 1987.
Yeah,
I
you
might know
did.
this.
You might know this movie.
I do know this movie.
All right, I'll stop there so we don't listen to the whole theme song. So, have you seen the movie Mannequin?
I've seen this movie like maybe 50 times.
That is quite a bit for you, actually. So,
Yeah.
well, for
I
those,
used to
I'm
watch it
pretty
like
sure.
multiple times a year.
Oh, yeah, we used to watch it, like, multiple times a day. This came out I was even, like, texted my sister earlier today, like, "Do you remember if we saw this in the theater or not?" Because I would have been 6, which doesn't mean I wouldn't have seen it. My mom would have taken us or something. She couldn't remember if
Mhm.
we watched it in the theater, but literally just watch after watch after watch in the VCR. I'm sorry, watch, rewind. Absolutely. So, I'm pretty sure everyone who listens to this show knows what Mannequin is since they're our family and friends. But for just in case, um, actually, of course, I Wikipedia'd it, but it's considered an American rom-com, and so it's
Mhm.
basically about um, kind of an artist that, I mean, not ne'er do well, but just can't hold down a job, trying to figure out creative versus being the everyday 9 to 5er and not being happy with it. And his name's Jonathan Switcher, and he ends up um, creating this mannequin, and he sees it in the shop of a storefront, and he gets a job there. And little does he know that it comes to life at night, because at the beginning scene that I didn't show you before the opening credits, it's Emma Hezre, and she wished to the gods back in Egyptian time that she was going to have to be betrothed to someone, and so she just didn't want that life, and she wanted to go explore and be her own woman. And so she was whisked away throughout the sands of time in various occasions. Because a part of the movie, she references her boyfriend Chris, who ends up being Christopher Columbus, and another one of her reincarnations in the past. But anyway, they fall in love. Chaos ensues. GW Bailey, who is like Captain Harris from Police Academy, is the security guard that's going to get him. And there's something fishy about this guy. Misaj Taylor's in it. Just lovely, lovely movie. I don't know if you know this, but it opened to crappy, crappy reviews and reception,
Of course, of course.
like most of the things that I love does, and it
Yeah.
happens. But it's now a cult classic, and then it's also kind of considered part of the golden age of the Brat Pack, because Andrew McCarthy, James Spader are in it, which are also part of the Brat Pack films. So yeah, big film in my life, all the music and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Like, there's plenty of songs to pick from here. So the first song I played was called "In My Wildest Dreams" from Belinda Carlisle. Also an amazing woman. She was the lead singer of the Go-Go's, who was the most successful all-female rock band of all time, by the way. Um, and though they broke up in '85, she went off to have like an awesome solo career. So this is one of her solo songs, but like "Heaven is a Place on Earth," "Mad About You," "I Get Weak," all those '80s amazing classics. But the one thing that I did learn that I didn't know, because again, I feel like I was like too young to appreciate her when she was big and came out. She started as a drummer for the Germs, which is like a punk
Mhm.
rock band. And her name was Dottie Danger. And like Nirvana and Foo Fighters and everybody like credit the Germs as being some of their inspiration. So the music
Yeah.
apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. And of course, she in 2001, she was nude for Playboy. She's had a little bit of a little habit, as most rock stars do. But all in all, Belinda Carlisle's amazing.
Yeah,
So
no, and one of those girl power too, like making it in the man's world. No. And I love this movie. I was
so
actually
much.
like, "Oh," as you may know, Sean and I have this ongoing fight over whether or not I actually like rom-coms. And I don't know if I do or I don't. But like Mannequin, I love Mannequin. I think maybe there's like some kind of dynamic in a rom-com that has to be there. And um I think that like how a mannequin, she's the one with the power. Like even though she turns into a mannequin in the daytime, in their relationship, in her people relationship, she's the one with the power. Like she knows that she's the one that's being sought after. She knows that she's like the special one in the relationship. And I think that's what I like about them. Yeah, anyone where they're like, oh, the little girl is just like falling over some like dumb boy. I'm like, two thumbs down. Who wants to watch this? This is garbage. But anyone where it's reversed and the guy's chasing her and she's the one that's special, I love them. I love this movie.
Well, there you go. Then there shouldn't be a debate any longer. It's just a little subgenre of the rom-com, that's all.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
all right. Well, let me get on to the second song then, and I'll play the song and then we can talk about where it is actually in the movie, because it's just kind of a picture. There's no movie to go along with it. So
Okay.
let's see.
Sometimes I watch you while you're sleeping, baby. Sometimes I see you hold your pillow tight. Am I the one you're holding on to, honey? Am I the one who's in your dreams at night? You tell me there's no other, baby. You tell me I'm the only one. I wish I knew for certain, baby. You say you love me, tell me, honey. Do you dream about me? Baby, when the night comes, when you close your eyes. Oh, do you dream about me? When you dream of someone, when you close your eyes. Who do you see? Do you dream about me?
Do you want to play a game and guess which part of the movie that is?
I did not. Obviously, it has something to do with him dreaming.
Oh, it's actually I should have just played it as part of the movie or whatever, but it's one of my well, I say my favorite scenes, but I love everything about it. But this is like the sequence when she comes to life and he's starting to get big for his displays in the window and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh," when really, she picks out the outfits and whatever. But
Mhm.
she finally hears music in like giant speakers for the first time, and then it's a whole
Mhm.
musical montage of them trying on
Oh
different
yeah,
outfits, and he comes down the stairs.
dancing
It's
through
like
the
a
store.
20s,
Yeah.
yes, 20s gangster. They do like Buffy's at the beach, all this other stuff. So they're like trying on all these different themed outfits. And I'm like, yes, this is me all day long. Please. I love it. So, but yeah, this is kind of a music centered podcast. So I'll give you a little bit of the music because this really, the person who did this song, her name is Alicia. I don't know if it's pronounced Alicia or Alicia, but she was an artist. She was born in 68 in Brooklyn, New York, and her parents like coaxed her into the music business. And she did like at 14, she joined a rock dance group. And so she had like a couple of hits. It was kind of like the same time as Martika and Toy Soldiers. And it seemed like in the reading, she kind of had a record deal, but some music that didn't quite catch on, more like dance music. So
Hmm.
there isn't really too much about her. But that song is like forever imprinted in how many little young ladies' minds that are now 40 something that are like, oh my God, I love this part.
Exactly.
So you can't really
Yeah.
complain. And then do you have like when you think about Mannequin and the soundtrack or anything, do you have like a specific song in mind? I know I'm putting you on the
Um,
spot with quizzes today.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, Mannequin. What's happening in that movie? And I just like when I'm thinking of Mannequin, I am just thinking about the um like I think it was actually this scene where they're trying all the clothes where like they're going up the escalator and down the escalator. So like in my mind, I think it's been at least at least like 8 years since I've seen the movie, maybe even 10 years since I've seen the movie. So it's like kind of faded. I don't, I'm gonna need to
Would
watch
this
it again, but
would this be one that you would put on a list to show Hannah and see if she likes it?
I actually was like, oh, even though it's a rom-com, I feel like there's not actually a lot of kissing in it. And I might watch it to see how much kissing it is in it, and then she might agree to watch it because I think she would love it. Like because she loves clothes and fashion and art. And what's his name? Mishak. He's so
Yeah,
flamboyant in this
Misach
movie.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I think she would love that character. And I'm like, okay, I think she like if she could get over that it's a romance and there's a will they won't they element of it, I think she would be really into this. So I might get to watch it this weekend. But yeah, I feel like there's a big song that I just can't think of
Yes.
right now.
And I'm gonna play it now. I just want to, and I'm sure you'll know it as soon as you hear it. You'll be like, "Ah, of course it is."
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a chance, just in case, just in case.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The big song.
Looking in your eyes, I see a paradise. This world that I found is too good to be true. Standing here beside you, want so much to give you this love in my heart that I'm feeling for you.
Let 'em say we're crazy. I don't care about that. Put your hand in my hand, baby. Don't ever look back. Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart. And we can build this dream together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
I'm so glad I found you. I'm not gonna lose you. Whatever it takes, I will stay here with you.
Okay. All right. Had to pull myself away. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
guess
Okay.
you're familiar with that song.
I'm familiar with the song. And you know what's funny is if I hear that song, it does remind me, oh yeah, this is from Mannequin. But if you just say Mannequin, what's the song? I don't think the recall works in both directions.
I completely understand that. So, this is called Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now from the band Starship. And here's one of my favorite things about the band Starship because it has roots back to Jefferson Airplane. And so it was Jefferson Airplane was the psychedelic band from San Fran, and Grace Slick was the lead singer, White Rabbit, Don't You Want Somebody to Love You? And then they went two separate ways, and half the band went to Hot Tuna and half the band went to Jefferson Starship. And so then Jefferson Starship still had Grace and another one of the people in it. But then there was some legal trouble about putting the Jefferson name in it. And so then they were just called Starship. So when you're thinking of musicians and you think of Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, you're somewhere in the right track of the same / similar artists. You'll get a crew. So and like Grace Slick just has an amazing voice, and she is freaking 83 now. I just want that to sink
Yeah.
in. Like,
Yeah.
wow. I had a bit of a moment when I was researching this. Like, I can't believe it. So,
Yeah.
but what I love, so Starship, I mean, they've got Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, but then this is actually on their follow-up record to their first album. And their first album is called Knee Deep in the Hoopla. And I just so happen to have it right here in case this looks familiar. Just this is like an image from my childhood that I like can't get out of my head. But this is like, we built this city on rock and roll. They sang a popular song called Sarah, which my sister's name was Sarah, so she absolutely loved this album and loved hearing that song over and over. So anyway, super mega popular song, and it actually was nominated for an Academy Award for, song for soundtrack or whatever during the year that it came out. So yeah, that's my little musical trip through Mannequin that I wanted to share today. It's a very meaningful
Yeah.
movie to me. Just in time for like, I don't even know how many years it's been, but I'm getting emails from local movie theaters of putting all the Brat Pack / John Hughes movies out for the summer or whatever. So I've always been an Andrew McCarthy fan. I'm pretty sure I had a huge crush on him starting with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like almost all the Brat Pack movies. I'm trying to think, is there one that I don't like? Maybe Saint Elmo's Fire, I'm not like the biggest fan of. But
Well, some of them are a little
I
darker, like St.
yeah,
Elmo's Fire and the others, but it's just like a little heavier
yeah,
material.
yeah. I feel like I haven't watched that. I feel like I haven't watched Saint Elmo's Fire since I was like in my early 20s. And maybe it's different. Like I feel like some of those movies, like if you aren't having that like that emotional angst in the moment, like I think I watched it when I was too young, and I'm like, "Ugh, what are you like? Your lives are good. Why are you like complaining? Like, why are you acting like your life is so bad?" But now I feel like you can have more, like even if you're like, yeah, everyone feels as bad as they do for whatever reason that they do. Like I feel like I could appreciate it more now, but whatever. The Brat Pack movies, I really like Andrew McCarthy because he accepts that his face makes him kind of look like a dummy and a jerk. And he just accepts that that's what his character is going to be, right? And he plays it really well, and I think he's better than like what's his name in 3 Men and a Little Lady.
Oh, John Cryer.
Yeah, like I think that they're just like, some people are like accept the kind of roles that fit how they look, and some of them like try to fight against it, and it doesn't go well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like Andrew McCarthy. I love this movie Mannequin. I'm definitely getting, whether Hannah wants to watch it or not, I'm gonna watch it again probably in the next 2 weeks just because I feel like it's time. I even remember liking Mannequin 2, and now I can't remember what's the difference between Mannequin 1 and Mannequin 2. The sidekick guy, the with the glasses, he's in the second movie, but they're not. Kim Cattrall
Oh,
and
they absolutely aren't. No, and I don't
yeah,
even know. I'm sure I watched the second one and was just like thoroughly disappointed, so I probably only watched it once,
yeah.
so.
Oh no, I liked both of them. I distinctly remember like there's certain movies. We went to a baby shower, and like they make you fill out this card about like, guess who knows the mom best. And I brought Hannah, and Hannah answered all the questions about me instead of the pregnant lady. And one of them's like, what's mom's favorite movie? My daughter's like, Ghostbusters. And I'm like, yep, 100%. I've watched Ghostbusters like at least 100 times. Like that movie is gotta be 35 years old. Oh, I might have watched that movie 200 times. Like I've watched that movie so many times. And but now I'm like, what music is in that? I'm gonna have to watch it again so I can like experience it like in segments again instead of just like it's this block of like comfort food watching Ghostbusters. But Mannequin is very similar to that, where it's just like, if you want to feel good about being from the 80s, you just like got a few movies that you can just go plug into. And Mannequin, Ghostbusters, Home Alone, and like if I had to think of a Brat Pack movie, I would probably choose Breakfast Club as my like, it's nice to be in the 80s, even though that movie is kind of a, like now that I think about it, that movie's kind of a bummer. Like if you watch Breakfast Club recently, I'm like, oh wait,
I
everybody in this movie is having like a real bad time of it.
I don't need to watch it recently. I mean, it is just like solidified in the brain. It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
definitely more of a Pretty in Pink. I like,
yeah,
I mean, I love Breakfast Club, and I think that that's more, um, I think it's more illustrative of the Brat Pack in general versus Pretty in Pink, but uh I'll choose Pretty in Pink any day, but it's more of like John Hughes versus Brat Pack or whatever. But um
yeah.
yeah, I absolutely love Breakfast Club, because I think at one point or another you can identify with one of them or all of them, and
All
it's
of
just,
them, yeah.
yeah, just so funny. Anyway,
And I mean, even thinking about how they were all having a hard time and like not understanding how everyone else could be having a hard time when they were having such a hard time and like learning to empathize with each other. Yeah, I really like that movie. I think it's too soon for Hannah. I don't think she is ready to watch it. Although I'm sure I probably watched it when I was like 12, so maybe next year. Okay, I love your songs. I love the movie, therefore I love the songs.
awesome. What do you got for
Um,
today?
Well, my songs are also themed around a movie.
Oh,
I watched the movie Renfield
oh,
because it is on streaming. It's on Peacock, and we just like we get it free with our internet. And I'm like, yeah, let's sign up for that. So I don't know if you've seen Renfield.
I love it.
Um,
Absolutely
yeah,
love it.
I'm like, if you haven't seen it, this is a movie for you, and you need to watch it immediately.
Yes. So it's
Nicolas
a nice,
Cage is
clever take
yeah,
on how many Dracula movies are there in the world,
yeah.
So good.
But Nicolas Cage as the Dracula, they're like, Nicolas Cage, are you interested in being Dracula? He's like, can I do it however I want? And they're like, yes, that's why we're hiring you. He's like, I'm in. And he just Nicolas Cage the heck out of that role. And it was so, so good. So my in the movie, they talk smack on ska a lot. So my theme is ska through the ages. So I'll just get started with the first one. And oops, I turned off my video instead of sharing the screen. All these buttons. Too many buttons. Okay. So first song is not from the movie Renfield, but is historical ska. Let me, oh my gosh, what the heck? Okay, so let me stop my share. Okay, so this is the Scatolites. These are like OG, the grandfathers of ska music. They are a Jamaican, it's actually called rocksteady, is their genre of music, which was dancehall music of the 60s in Jamaica. And like you can see like these dudes in this video, they're like 70 years old because like a lot of these were the original members. This band continues. I'd say 8 out of the 10 original members are dead, and the other 2 do not tour with them anymore because they're 90. So it's a whole fresh band now, if you would see them. But this is probably like if you think about ska music, you don't think about this. Like there's no lyrics, it's just music. It's like an instrumental dance hall music, but you can start to hear where they're like the upbeats, the the upbeat is starting to kick in. But this is so slow because the birth of ska music is actually very slow, related to polka and related to like box step. And it's just so funny to think about how, like, if you ask somebody to describe ska music now, they'd be like, in the movie Renfield, they're like, isn't that music that's like 90% horns? And the poor girlfriend, she's like, that's a gross misrepresentation of what ska music. I was cracking up. I was like dying. I was just like, every time they talked about ska, I was dying. But anyway, so the Scouts, they are like the grandfathers of the movement. But the word ska and the genre ska is just like a noise. They're talking about like musical improv. So it was like a scatting noise, like it was just a noise they made, and they did not mean to name their genre of music, and it just happened. Okay, but my second song is actually referenced in the movie Renfield. So in the movie, like, they go to the support group. The one girl, her boyfriend's like, one of the things that's bad about him is that he's really, really into ska music. And then when they find him, like, he's one of those like really obnoxiously into ska music guys. I'm like, oh boy, should you get fed to a vampire? Spoiler alert. I don't know, maybe. But they come up to like where the dude's hangout is, and he has like this graffiti on the outside of their building, which it says like stop your messing around, which is, and Aquafina comes up, it's like, I think that's lyrics to a ska song. It is lyrics to a ska song. It's lyrics to this ska song. So let me share my screen.
Stop you messing around.
Stop your messing around. Better think of your future. Time is straighten right out. Creating problems in town. Routine. A message to you, routine. A message to you. Stop your fooling around. Time you straighten right out. Better think of your future. Else you wind up in jail.
Okay. So this is the specials, and all ska bands after 1980 will say like major influence on their music is the specials. This is actually a cover. This was not their original song. This is a cover of a Jamaican rocksteady song called Rudy, a message to you, instead of a message to you, Rudy. Like, they put the comma in a different spot. I'm like, that's not how copyright works, guys, but whatever. So you can see like it's still slow. Like, we were talking about beats per minute last time, and now
Yeah.
I'm like, I got way down a rabbit hole of this, and I'm like maybe everyone's right, and 160 is not that fast, and I can handle it. So I went around like with the little listener and the metronome to like figure out. I'm like, no, 160, I cannot handle it, guys. Like 1-2 songs maximum. After that, I'm like, this has to stop. This has to stop. But yeah, so this song is still slow. It's 112 beats per minute, which is like a nice, comfortable groove. And this genre is its own subgenre called two-tone, which is like the first British wave of ska music. So ska, going all the way back to like ska and reggae kind of came about at the same time. But reggae is obviously like the more famous music to come out of Jamaica. And then two tone is the British version of ska, and two tone is more heavily influenced by the working class punk movement of the late 70s. So obviously, like, you could see them how they're dressed, like they look like they're punk rockers, except they're playing this like super slow music. And I
Yeah.
think that's what happened, is like the rock steady lost against the punk music. The punk like it lost. So my next song, I'm like the only person I know who knows this song. So if you know
Okay.
this song, I'm gonna be very happy. But like every time, like me and my friend Pat are like the only people that know this song that I've ever like played this song for. They're like, "What is this? What, this is terrible." It's not terrible, but like this is weird. Weird is a better word for it.
All right. I am intrigued.
Yeah, you might know it because you know songs, but
Eh,
then you might not know it because like it's very weird. I'll
yes,
be
you have
straight up.
surprised me. You have given me some songs I do not know. That is for sure.
And this one's weird.
Method Scoffers.
Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. I love bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Love a sandwich made with bumblebee. Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. I love bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Love a sandwich made with bumblebee. My name Bumbo said he was so hungry. Him had a craving for something of the sea. I told him I had chicken franks. I told him I had Charlie. Him smiling said, I think I'll have some bumblebee. Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. I love bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna. Love a sandwich made with bumblebee.
Okay.
Oh my God, I do not know that song, but I'm going to know that song. That is a magical song.
Yeah.
They had me at Messiscopheles, like I just can't. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. See, a literary wordplay. It's right there, right for you.
But and then it's just so funny too, like I immediately think of like all the funny punk songs or any songs that's just like about food or something, and like the Descendants, and they have a song just about coffee. And it's just like, oh my God, it's amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
I
am
love
gonna I am getting off this pod and playing it for Nick immediately. So this will be our new earworm for the next week. Bumblebee tuna.
yeah,
Oh yeah, this is
yeah.
going in my repertoire for sure.
I love how it starts off like a classic punk ska song where it's like building each instrument's coming in, building, 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 and then it's like yum yum bumblebee bumblebee tuna.
Well, and if I didn't see the title with the tuna part, it actually sounded like bumblebee noises in the beginning. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, is this just some weird scat with no words and it's just supposed to sound like a bumblebee? What is this thing? What is this thing she is playing for me? My ears don't know how to
So
process.
so this song is from 1994. It's Mephistopheles. So this is like the more classic American 90s ska that we know. That Real Big Fish is a part of this genre, the 90s American ska. And the Mephistopheles, obviously, they have their name is a literary reference. And they're goofy. So this is what I've always liked about ska music, is that it's goofy. And so they have more classic punk rock inspired songs, but then they have like this one, the Bumblebee Tuna song. But they when they play it and they perform it, they are like selling it. They're like, this is not a joke. This is a serious punk song. And like when they're like singing it, they are fully emoting with the emotion and the energy. It's definitely like what's all the good parts about ska. So like I don't know if this means that I should get fed to a vampire because like I'm also really into ska music. It's possible that I should get fed to a vampire. Okay. And then I have one more song. So
Okay.
again, like this is ska through the ages. So 1965 is kind of the birth of the movement. It's still like super slow dance music. 1979, the Specials, like actually 1977, the Specials come on board, but that song, the Message for You, Rudy, is from 1979, and that's kind of like the British era. The 90s is the American era. Ska continues now. It's having another wave, and it's having like a whole like international thing. And I wonder if you've heard of this band because they are very amazing. So let me get my screen sharing.
What's are falling again? Can you understand? It's the 21st century and nothing is changed. Digital media is blinding our eyes, turning friends into enemies with all those lies. The hunt is on just like in ancient times. Open fire on our brothers who cross the line. The puppets of dictators again and again. I see the more things change, the more they stay the same. No borders, no wars. We are equal, all the same. No nations, no fighting. Just stop this game. No borders, we're all the same. I thought it finally learned that there is one life and one love. We're only humans after all, and it's a gift from high above. No borders, no wars. We're equal, all the same. No nations, no fighting. Just stop this game.
Okay. So,
Okay.
do you know Ruskaya?
I don't. That's so cool.
So, I didn't know this band. Sean listens to this podcast called Who Charted. There's this comedian called H. Michael Kramer, and it's his podcast, and he like goes through the music charts, and then the guests also like bring songs. And one of the guests, she was really into ska music, and she was like, yeah, you gotta like check out this whole like Russian ska situation. And like she didn't have this song, she had a different song, but like I'm like, I will check out a Russian ska situation. And I checked them out. This song, No Borders, just came out in February of 2023, so it's like a brand new song.
Oh wow.
And this band Rushkaya, they're actually Austrian, but like everybody in Eastern Europe is like got roots in everywhere else. So they're an Austrian band. They live in Austria. They perform in Austria as their home base, but a lot of them have like Ukrainian heritage, and they actually are on a hiatus of unknown length in protest of the war in Ukraine. So that's kind of like this song is also kind of clearly in protest of the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Of like, why, like there should be no border, there should be no war right here. Like what's the deal here, guys? Like we shouldn't just shoot our friend just because they walked over a line, right? So this Rushkaya is actually like a super big ska band in Eastern Europe, especially Austria. Toured all the time. Like they sing in English, so like they're played in American ska also. But yeah, they are on semi-permanent hiatus. Like if the war goes on forever, their hiatus, I guess, goes on forever. So we may never get to see them live, but their album is really good. I have it on my Apple Music, and so clearly influenced a lot more by like the 80s punk, 80s metal, and then also like polka music it has like a real mishmash of sounds here. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really into them. I'm like, oh, I bet you would be really into them. And if they ever come back, maybe this will be our first concert we ever get to see together. Is if these guys come
Exactly.
back.
No, they
All
actually
right.
when I listen to them, their sound, they actually sound a lot to me like Go-Go Bordello. Have you heard them?
Mm-mm.
They're like, oh, well, we'll play some either next time on the pod if I remember, or just send you some, but they're a gypsy punk band. A little bit darker feel. It's definitely like
Mhm.
harder punk and less ska. But like sounds the same, very much international issues and love one another and all of that stuff. And I absolutely love them. But this band has a vibe like that. So you'll have to check them out. They're gypsy band.
Yeah.
But that was such a pleasant surprise. Such a pleasant
Yeah.
surprise. I loved it.
2 songs you didn't know. I'm like,
Yeah, you
I'm
just
really on a roll.
blew my mind right there. Oh,
Yeah.
Bumblebee Tuna. That's the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Bumblebee Tuna song. Um, like the first time I played it for Sean, he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "You don't know the Bumblebee Tuna song?" I mean, because like we were in the same friend group in college, and I'm like, how did I really get into this song and you didn't really get into this song? Like we were all around the same people all the time, playing all the same music all the time, but I don't know, he blocked it out.
He missed the hang the night that this song came out, and then he just missed it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that was my ska through the ages. I'm really glad that ska music is not dead and that it's having this resurgence. And there's other new bands too. So I guess now that I've cracked into modern, like the modern version of ska, I'm also like I was saying that I got down this rabbit hole about beats per minute, and like I went through my playlist and I like created through my song library, and I created a playlist of like 115 beats per minute. And like now that I've done that, the algorithm just keeps sending me all of this like 1970s rock steady music. So it's like I had been listening to Apple Music has this playlist called like chill covers, where they play like it's kind of like like that Rockabye Baby. It's like
Yeah.
that, but it's vocal. It's like regular regular rock and roll and popular music slowed down and played folksy. I had been listening to that, and I'm like, it's fine. It's coffee shop music. But now that the algorithm is giving me like all this like real classic like 80s and like 70s and 80s rock steady, I'm like, oh, this is so much better. I could listen to this all day. And 115 beats per minute is like kind of it's moving fast enough that I move quickly through the day, and then I can slow it down to like 99 when I'm ready to chill. And then
And then 116 just induces a panic attack, and you've got to go
oh
lie
my
down.
gosh.
One more
Yeah,
beat
so
per
like
minute and your day is
oh
done.
my god, I couldn't take it. Yeah, like this Riskaya is 123 beats per minute, and I could listen to maybe like 2 songs of theirs that are kind of at that 120, and I'm like, okay, moving too fast. I'm starting to get anxiety. I need to slow it down. And then and then you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. We added 120, might as well take a nap. 160, 165.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
all
love
right.
it. I
Well,
loved our themes today.
loved it. All right, well, that is it for me today. Anything else before we stop recording?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good way to go.
Yeah, good way to go. Okay, well, then I will see you next time. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
All right, bye.